where they found me. Look for it, Marty!
Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at the Mobula7 HDzero. This is the first in the model of bind and fly HD whoops from HDzero. Before we get into it, let's look at some specs on this. This is a 75mm Mobula7 frame. This is known for being one of the toughest frames on the market. The 75mm motor post to motor post. It's running these Happymodel 1102 9000 kV motors, driving this 40mm ASSI prop with a 1.5mm shaft. This quad comes with the Happymodel 12 amp AIO with a USB-C and XT30 connector. This quad also has plug-in motors, which I prefer over trying to do the tiny soldering. Also, you'll notice the little pads in here. If you are running a FrSky or Spectrum radio or Crossfire, you can wire it to this. Mine is running the Express ELRS 2.4 with the ceramic antenna. I'm also running the ORT antenna. 5.8 gigahertz gives you a little bit more range in the long run than the dipole antenna. This quad is recommended to run 2 to 3S, and it's pretty finicky on the batteries that it'll use. I'm using the GMB 383S, the RDQ 350 milliamp 2S, and the RDQ 525 milliamp 2S. Notice one thing that these all have in common. These are all thin batteries that fit easily inside the canopy. GNB 450s don't work. There's several other kinds that don't work. And my recommendation is not to try to force a battery in that is too big for this battery tray. You'll just end up breaking it. Now, I know some people have cut this off and ran either a strap through this or a rubber band through it, but I don't recommend doing that. I recommend just getting you a battery that fits inside the tray. Doesn't cause that. This is a little more snug, but it still fits good. And the thing that I like about it is when you land this, when you come down on this, the first thing it's going to hit is it's going to hit the battery and the battery tray, not your motors. Okay, let's get a weight on this. I'm showing a dry weight of 40.3 grams. That's not bad for a 2S whoop. Actually, it's really good. This comes with the HDzero OG Whoop VTX with the RunCam HDzero Nano V1 camera. I think it does a little better in low light and no light conditions than the Whoop Lite camera. It's just got a bigger lens on it, if that makes sense. I got mine with the 2.4 gigahertz Express LRS. Now, if you're one of these guys that likes to run Express LRS at 500 hertz, I recommend binding it at 250 hertz. There's been those who have asked me about my camera settings on this. I'm going to put a quick picture up on the screen of the camera settings that I use. Now, when it comes to binding, all you have to do is go into Betaflight, into your receivers tab, make sure that your module is not updated past Express LRS 2.x, to whatever, 3.0 or the higher levels. Mine is set at 2.1. And all I had to do, I didn't have to do anything out of the box. All I had to do was hit the bind button. There is a way, and I can show you down in the screen, of how to do it through ElRS website using a UID. Go to the link in there and you type in your bind phrase and it will give you a UID number. And right below the UID number, it will give you a line that you need to copy, and simply copy this, go into the CLI, paste it, and your quad should be bound to every module that you have that's in 2.0 that is bound to that bind phrase, or every radio or module that's using that bind phrase will be bound to this quad. One of the things that I've figured out during this is that HDzero is the main marketer of this. This is, though it's a Mobula7, this is warranted and supported by HDzero. So if you have a problem with it, you'll get much better service, you'll get much better support out of HDzero than you would Happymodel. So that's another plus in my opinion. Let's go out to the field and we'll look at some flight footage. Okay, this is the maiden flight on the Mobula7 HDzero. The first thing I notice is that the camera angle is way too low for my liking. As I'm flying it around, I noticed that it's a little bit floaty. This is on the 350 milliamp RDQ battery. It seems to be a little light. The power is there. Purposefully setting it down in its own prop wash to see how it handles the prop wash. It handles that really well for a whoop. Let's try a little bit heavier battery and see what we get. Now here we're still flying it on with the same camera angle, but this is on a GMB 525. It's a little bit heavier. What I'm testing here is how the camera handles light changes. I want to check the dynamic range of the camera. It seems to handle directly into the sun very good. So I'm dropping down, checking for yaw washout. Seems to do all right. Coming around here, we're going to see how it throws itself with this little heavier battery on it. Seems to do pretty good. Notice I have the OSD turned off in this setting, so you can see what that is like. I have that set up on a switch. I can do a video on that later. I have had some people ask me about it. This quad handles very well. We've got another pack here. We're going to do a little bit more freestyle type flying, setting it down in its own prop wash. Again, it seems to handle that really well for a 75 millimeter whoop. It's handling it well in my opinion. Remember, this is just the third pack on this quad. I'm starting to get a feel of how this quad handles power and prop wash. I'm going to do a few more power loops here, the keyhole gate, and then we're going to move on to a little bit more power and a little bit more performance. We're still on 2S here, but we're going to push it with 100% throttle that time, sitting down in the prop wash. It handles it well. Let's do it again. Notice we're 100% throttle all the way down on the prop wash, and it didn't wash out. So that's impressive. That's impressive for, in my opinion. I've not had a Tinywhoop 75 millimeter or 65 millimeter be able to handle that kind of prop wash sitting down in it. We'll take a little run. I want to see flying into the sun how it handles going from the sun to shade. You'll see here flying into the trees. In my opinion, it handles it well. Still able to hit the gaps. Here we are on a cloudy day. We have raised the camera angle up. The quad seems to do good in the low light. It's actually about to rain. We're still running at 25 milliwatts, so we get good penetration through the house. The rates on it, I tried turning them, messing with the rates, turned them up a little too high in this flight, and suffered the consequences. That's my doings there. Took it back to factory rates. You can see there the sky is very cloudy. I took it out to a park, and this is where I encountered the first problem that I run into with the Mobula7. I'm flying it on the 350 milliamp battery here, so it's still a little floaty. I'm trying a little proximity flying. What I've noticed and what happened to me, you'll see it coming up here in just a moment. It handles a crash pretty well. I hit the side of the fireplace here. It handled that well, come out of it just fine. Alright, I'm flying over here. This is the first time flying at this park. I come back to the swing set because I hear someone's coming in behind me to do a little proximity flying, keeping the quad in front of me. Come over here to this obstacle course, and I'm still fighting with the floatiness of this quad on that 350 milliamp RDQ battery. It's just very floaty, almost like the early stage toothpicks. Going to drop in here to see if we get any yaw washout. It seems to handle that very well. I'm going to do a power loop, come back around, and this coming up here is what was day ending for me. I'm going to do another power loop, and when I hit this, it knocks 2 props off and ends my day because I didn't bring any spares. Hey YouTube, I'm going to do a low light test of the Mobula7 HDzero. It's probably about 8 o'clock. Sun is down here. Going to be flying it on 2S and 3S. It is already past twilight. You can see the interior lights are on in the home, and the solar lights are already on. So we'll get right to it. All right. Let's get up here and take a look at the sun. It's a beautiful sunset today. All right. Let's do some low light flying. Do a power loop of the bug on my leg. Oh. Do a little. I'm really liking this keyhole gate. It's allowing me to practice my power loops and my natty flips out in the yard without having to go back and pick it up every time it hits the grass. GMB 525 2S. So I will get a bit of a longer flight out of it than the 3S. The 3S is just raw power. Right over the phone. Let's look at the sun again. What a beautiful sunset. Up here is a fire. My brother's got a fire going. Huh. One last battery. Sun is completely set. Marty from the future here. Upon further consideration and watching video here during editing, I do believe that the RunCam Nano camera has a better low light and no light capability than the little Whoop light camera, simply because of the size of the lens. On a 2S 300 milliwatt. Yeah, see this is grainy. It seems to have a little bit more. I don't know if the sensor is smaller or what, but it seems to have a little bit more of a trouble with the low light. Beautiful. Beautiful. Take some time out of your day to rise up above all the noise and just fly. We can see here the lights. You can see now I got some wash lights on the Sasquatch. Shout out to Flying Sasquatch if you're watching. There's one of your relatives there sneaking in front of my shed. Happymodel has discontinued this flight controller, so there's, except for what's in the stores here, there's no more. Isn't this beautiful? I don't know. It seems to me like it might be. It seems to be showing the shadows on the house better than the other one did. Yeah, you know what? It may be better. I think that's what I'm. I think what I'm seeing is that it is doing better. It's just grainier because it's got more of an image to it. Alright, I will try a no light test. Right, here's a no light flight about 10:30 in the evening. No moon. But it seems to be grainier. Than the other, but I am seeing a little more definition. Trigger the floodlight. I don't know, it's probably a little bit better. See now the front yard. Yeah, I can see the fence a little bit where I couldn't before with the other one. Yeah, I think it's better. It's grainy, but I think I can see more. Certain I can see more. Look out here in the darkness. We can see in between the trees right there. Through the gate. Now this is, again, what I would call country dark out here. There we go. There it is. Let me see if you can see on my phone. Give you an idea. That's how low the light is to the shed over there. And the naked eye, I don't know if you can make out the ring or the keyhole gate or not, but this is dark. All right. Well, we just got to see the specs. We went over the specs that this little quad comes with. You got to see the flight footage. You got to see it flying on a cloudy day. You got to see it flying on a sunny day. We saw it flying cruising slow. We saw it doing freestyle, power loops, matty flips, rolls. We saw it in low light conditions, and we saw it in no light conditions. I think with the bigger lens that this one has on it, it performs just a little better than the Mobula 6. You can see the difference in the size of the lenses. Makes a big difference when you're talking about low light. Both of these are incredible models. Now my thoughts. This Mobula 7 is one of the best flying, if not the best flying Whoop that I have ever flown straight out of the box. This thing flies well. On the 350 2S, I thought it was a bit too light. It was a little bit floaty to me. It didn't really have the weight that I felt that it needed to fling itself good for power loops, Maddies, things like that. In my opinion, this is the all-around best battery to run this quad on. I was averaging 4 to 5 minutes flight time. But if you are one that wants to awaken the beast of this Mobula 7 HDzero, I recommend flying it on the RDQ 380 milliamp high volt. Go ahead and charge it up to 4.3, and this thing will come alive. This thing flies almost as good as my 3-inch tiny trainer, and this is a Whoop. The occasional yaw washout still happens. I've done nothing. I've had to do nothing, zero, to the stock tune that's on this. This quad, in my opinion, is hands down the best flying 75 millimeter Whoop that I've ever flown, if not the best Whoop that I have ever flown. Those are my opinions. You'll find in the description below the link to get those batteries, a link where you can get this ORT antenna. None of my links are affiliate links, so if you do have your favorite YouTuber that has affiliate links at your shop of preference, then I recommend that you go on their website, click on their affiliate links before ordering it. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps out the content creators. I do have a link in the description below to Epidemic Sound. This link will give you a 30-day free trial, which everyone gets, but it also gives you, if you click on my link, you get 10% off for 1 year if you decide to keep and use Epidemic Sound. And I recommend it if you're going to be making content. You never know when one of your videos is going to blow up, and you may decide to monetize. And if you have all of your videos with someone else's copyrighted music on it, then they're going to be the one that's going to make the money off of your videos. If you have royalty-free music like Epidemic Sound, and you do ever decide to monetize your channel, then you would be the one getting the money from that. And all that I get from you clicking the link is, my understanding is, if after 12 people sign up for Epidemic Sound through my link, then I get the 10% off that you get. That's my understanding with it. I do this for the love of the hobby. Again, a big shout out to Carl at HDzero. Had a problem with one of these that we just couldn't get it. We just couldn't get it to bind. The flight controller was bad. The seller that sent me the first one to check it out, they were sold out. So Carl is sending me another one of these, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the Meteor 65 Pro frame, which has 35 millimeter prop ducts on it. It's a little bit bigger. If it'll fit, I believe it will. I believe it'll fit in there just fine. And if I do that, I'm going to do a comparison between this one, a 75 millimeter home built on 1S, and the 7S. We'll do a shootout between the 4 of them on my channel. Thanks for watching. If you would, give me a thumbs up if this video's helped you at all. Comment, let me know. Are you excited about the HDzero goggles? Are you intending on buying them when they come out? I'm excited for them. Just, it seems to me that everything that HDzero has put out has been something that I've really liked. So I'm excited for the release of those. Already saving up money for it. Let me know in the description below which HDzero products you're using. And thanks for watching. As always, Have a great day. God bless. And keep flying.